couple things you're gonna think about in body position. I'm gonna talk about body position more throughout this video than anything. Body position is key to making your riding easier. I want you to be able to put less effort and get more out of your riding. And you do that by having correct body position. So, correct body position generally means that your chest is going to be up and vertical. In fact, you're always leaning away from the boat. No matter if you're riding with your right foot forward, your left foot forward, or doing a side slide, you're always leaning away from the boat. That lean away is very important to keep you from catching any edges, either heel side, toe side, tip, or tail. You're also going to want to think about your arms still being straight, your chest being up, your eyes trying not to look down. I know there's all this water going underneath you and crazy things happening below you, but keep your eyes looking either at the trees or at the boat, at all your friends who are throwing things at you. Keep your hips close to the handle. If you feel like your butt is sticking way out and your lower back is getting tired, it's because your hips have dropped too far from the handle. So think about keeping that distance pretty closed. More importantly, keep both knees bent. People get up for the first time and they lock out the front leg. We've got footage of people, and you can always see beginners riding with their front leg locked and their back leg very bent. Anytime one leg is bent and the other leg is straight, that means the bent leg has all the weight. One of the most important elements of body position is keeping your front foot underneath the handle. When you're in a side slide, both feet are underneath the handle. The reason for this is just kind of gives you a visual check to see if your chest is getting pulled forward out the front. If you feel like you're doing wake jumps or any kind of trick on the water and you're feeling you're in a comfortable position, check to see where your foot is according to the handle. If it's behind the handle, that means you need to keep your chest up. Okay, when you're riding, I saw you try to close the gap between your hips and the handle by pulling the handle in, but you actually want to bring your hips to the handle while leaving your arms straight. So let's make sure you're not bringing the handle to your hips, but leave the handle there and bring your hips to the handle. The reason you want to keep the handle low down near your hips is the same reason as if you had somebody tie a rope around your upper body. If they tied it around your shoulders and somebody yanked on it, it's going to pull just your upper body over. That's simulating keeping the handle really high and not keeping it down low near your hips. Now, if you wrap that rope around your waist and had somebody pull, it pulls your entire body along because that's kind of your center of your body, right? So that's why you want to keep that handle nice and low.
Board control.
Now, I saw once you're up, you had a little bit of a hard time trying to go in the right direction. When you're trying to go left, you tried pointing the board to the left. But the way that I explain to people how the board goes from left to right, think about when you're going down the road and you stick your hand out the window and you do your hand surfing. When you want your hand to go to the left, you don't point your hand to left, you actually tilt it to the left. Same thing going to the right. You don't point it to the right, you tilt it to the right. That's how we want the board to act on the water. The way that you tilt the board is by leaning. If you want the board to go left and you're left foot forward, all you have to do is lean back on your heels. That's the easiest way for most people to go, is on their heel side edge away from the boat. The reason being is all you gotta do is lean back against the rope. Toe side feels a little bit more awkward because you're actually leaning against your arm and the boat is trying to stand you up from that position. We'll go through toe side in just a little bit. When you want the board to go to the left, remember, it's not about pointing the board and letting the fins go, but actually you should be able to do it without any fins and just lean back and let the board take itself out there as you push on the board's edge. If the board starts to slip out, it's because you're trying to point the board farther than you are leaning the board over. So just make sure that you're staying in between the wakes at first, cutting left and right, back and forth. Now, if you're left foot forward to go left, you lean on your heels, and then if you're left foot forward and you like to go right, you're gonna be leaning on your toe side edge. The best thing to get yourself to go in a direction is by looking there. If you want to go to the right, look to the right. Now, if you feel like the board is pointing to the left and you're trying to go to the right, think about taking that handle and pushing it down lower on your front hip. The farther you push the handle down on your front hip, the more you can lean over. The more the handle comes up, it stands you up more. So keep that handle down low. Once you start going right, make sure that board continues to point in that direction, because when you're going toe side, the boat kind of wants to pull the board a little bit straighter. So you do want to keep that board pointing over to the right, even though I said don't point the board. Toe side, you have to actually consciously think a little bit about pointing that board in that direction. But most important two things, handle down, eyes across when you're going on your toe side. So at first, just stay in between the wakes. Go left and right. Keep the boat real slow. We're gonna keep the boat real slow for a while until you feel comfortable going back and forth. We're gonna keep the speed probably around like 14, 15 miles an hour and keep the rope out about 70 feet. This allows a super big area for you to cut back and forth and really learn how to control the edges.